Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
AEW. All Elite Wrestling has me forcing my hands to wanting to do yet another video. I am back up here, well, down here now again, because again, we're downstairs now instead of upstairs in my house. But I am here for another AEW video. And honestly, what kind of inspired me to try to do another topic video for AEW just right out of All In, because again, I don't review AEW Dynamite anymore. The show, the pay-per-views, the ones I've watched at least, have still been great shows. Worth the money, worth the time. The weekly shows, though, have been absolute garbage, continuous. So much so that it's like, I barely even pay attention when I watch anymore. There are things I notice, though, things I do want to talk about. And the last AEW video I did, well, besides the All-In preview and review, was when I did a dual topic video on Shane McMahon having his private meeting leaked with Tony Khan, and also the suspension of Britt Baker. That video, to this day, is still getting views. It actually has been one of the higher viewed videos on my channel in recent months. So it kind of inspired me. Well, I still don't care for Dynamite or to do any other like AEW reviews right now. And I still think it could be a toxic subject, and that's my dogs in the background playing. Guys, settle down. But it inspired me that, you know, if I can keep getting like that good viewership, maybe I should try to throw in a few more topic videos with AEW here and there. So that's what I'm going to do tonight here before I go to bed. And the subject I want to talk about is something I feel like I'm starting to be a revolving door, is Jack Perry. And the recent booking he had from All In, and now to his title match at All Out. Now, keep this in mind also, I have not watched this week's episode of Dynamite as I record this. This is at midnight, going from Wednesday night into Thursday night. I have not yet watched Dynamite, so I don't know what the booking is, but I'm pretty sure, I know for sure, that at All Out this coming Sunday, which as of now, I don't plan on checking out, is going to have the main event of Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry for the AEW World title. Now, on paper, that's a great match. Jack Perry, let me start with a positive here. Jack Perry is an AEW original. He is one of the pillars of AEW. And despite the fact of like the bread and butter of this video is going to be, which is the premise of his character, he has come a long way as a heel. When he first turned heel last year at Forbidden Door, it felt like he wasn't quite comfortable yet in the role. But then, of course, he had his suspension, which we'll get into why. He was gone for, 9 months? I didn't think he was coming back, because he had that segment in New Japan where he ripped up his AEW contract. But then got brought back, got thrown into the New Elite, beat up Tony Khan on live TV, and is now your TNT Champion after it got vacated by Adam Copeland due to injury after Double or Nothing. But here we are. Again, why am I here? I feel like I'm just a revolving door, constantly talking about one thing that really bothers me about AEW. And I remember years ago most of you guys watch Just Alex on YouTube. I watch him quite often. And one of my favorite videos he ever made was a video where he talked about when WWE was struggling, one of their biggest problems were they were relying more on heat to draw viewership than the heroes. It was the bad guys that seemingly made them more money. But sometimes you can look at heat in the wrong eye. And I've been ranting on this for a while, that the biggest reason why I'm not the biggest fan of this new Elite stable with the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, and Jack Perry is because the fact that the heat they're trying to get is off of CM Punk's the issues the Bucks had with CM Punk and Colt Cabana and Jack Perry last year being the final nail in the coffin that got CM Punk fired. That is what they're relying on to get them the heat. They can't just be the corporate EVPs and just like these corporate characters, which, I wouldn't mind. I like that they kind of dug in that for a different character. But again, the main thing that still bothers me, is their premise. The main thing they're trying to constantly get heat from is the fact that, again, they don't like CM Punk, and Jack Perry is the scapegoat who got CM Punk fired after their backstage incident when Jack Perry took that shot at CM Punk with Real Glass Cry Me a River on the pre-show at All In 2023. Which Punk later mentioned in an interview that just came from the fact that he told him not to, use real glass with a rental car on Collision. Because, it could cause problems, this and that. So he asked him, just please don't do it. Yes, balls to the walls, I see the crazy stunts Jack Perry tries to pull off, especially in his recent feud with Darby Allin. It's creative, but again, they're not really that necessary. And, executives, beside not just Punk, others didn't see, Jack Perry needing to have to use real glass. And then he fired that shot into the camera of Real Glass Cry Me a River on at All In last year. Punk and Perry got into that backstage altercation. Of course, after Punk talked to Tony Khan, told them, do something about this. Tony Khan doesn't have a freaking backbone and spine, did absolutely nothing, and it escalated so badly that, as we saw in the footage that they decided to show on Dynamite this year of the back of Punk, which again, keep in mind, Punk was not with the company anymore. They did that despite CM Punk for what he said in an interview, which I still think, and I'm not just being like a whole, looking at CM Punk with rose-tinted glasses. Again, I do agree Punk can handle himself better. But I also understand why he reacted the way he did, and that's because Tony Khan was doing absolutely nothing about this drama. And again, making two separate shows, putting everybody on separate shows, was just going to make things worse. It wasn't going to work. And it blew up right in Tony Khan's face. And again, as I said before, Tony's just cracked, and in some ways has kind of gone a little insane, won't lie. But the main reason why I'm here is to emphasize that through the booking recently of Jack Perry, AEW has still not moved on from what happened last year. And it's to the point now where, and I gotta say this, I think Tony Khan got very complacent, thinking that people were watching his show because at the time people hated WWE. Whenever WWE started getting good again, when Vince got fired, when he retired, and Triple H took over, and then all this other drama started happening, it exposed a lot of Tony Khan's weaknesses. And through that, it's just been downhill for AEW ever since. And again, the best they can do at this point to get viewership is to get heat from wrestlers who aren't even in the company anymore. Remember earlier in the year whenever he made some comment about Jinder Mahal and whatnot on Twitter or something like along the lines of that, when Jinder Mahal was going to get the world title match, yet he was promoting that Hook was going to be and Samoa Joe were going to be a better match, and he mentioned about Jinder. Again, he was relying on talent not in his company for storyline purposes. And now he's still relying on CM Punk to get heat on Jack Perry, who again is doing a hell of a job as a heel. But again, his premise, the purpose of his character, it's all, and he just won't let go. Like, let's talk about what was happening in the past 2 weeks. So, at All In, Jack Perry had a match with Darby Allin. And during the match, it was a coffin match, so anything goes. Jack Perry pulled out a bag and poured glass into the ring. And it got the crowd to pop. They chanted, "Oh, cry me a river," which, I'm not going to lie, at first I did kind of pop for it. I'm like, okay, it's been 1 year since the incident happened. I'll kind of let it pass. But then, on Dynamite last week, they decided to give Jack Perry a world title shot against Bryan Danielson in Chicago at All Out. Why is Jack Perry, the TNT Champion, getting a title shot for the world title when we have Darby Allin and Christian Cage who have earned title opportunities? Why are they giving somebody else that opportunity first? And I know exactly why it's doing it, and it's just showing how insane, how much Tony Khan has just cracked under the pressure. And in some ways, and I'll say this, I would still rather have Tony Khan than Vince McMahon. Tony Khan is actually a wrestling fan. He does care about fans. But in some ways, he is becoming his own enemy. Because he's now starting to rely on some of the same things Vince McMahon did, like get heat off of people who you couldn't get their comeuppance for. Again, when Stephanie McMahon was a heel authority figure, nobody could touch her. So her berating superstars meant absolutely nothing because none of them could get revenge on her. Nobody. Nobody could touch her. And that's the same problem we have here with CM Punk. So, after seeing that, everybody sees the writing on the wall here. They only put Jack Perry in this world title match. And again, also, too, storyline-wise, why would Authority give Jack Perry a world title opportunity when he was the one who put his hands on Tony Khan? And Tony Khan has gotten no comeuppance or revenge on the Elite or Jack Perry since that incident. They did that completely out of desperation to get ratings. That was a complete desperate move. That was almost as desperate or as desperate as Vince McMahon adding in the wild card rule in 2019 and going, I'm a genius, I'm a genius, I'm a genius. Desperate to put heat on him just to, get him booed. And just want to see the crowd. But again, it's like, that does nothing. You just made everything look like more an idiot, because also, you made yourself look like an incompetent authority figure because you were there to restore order, and instead of restoring order, you let everything get more out of control. That is exactly what Tony Khan's doing, both off camera and on the camera. Why would you reward a guy who attacked the boss a world title shot? I don't get that. And again, the only reason why they're doing this is because they know Jack Perry will get one of the bigger reactions in Chicago. They're either going to boo the heck out of him because he got CM Punk fired, or they're going to cheer the heck out of him and chant F CM Punk because he got CM Punk fired. There were some people who were chanting that at All In. There are some CM Punk haters out there. My wife in general is one of them, but I respect it. Her reasons why. But still, you gotta give up on it. Because that alone made me realize, because another thing too, the one problem I had with Darby and Jack's match at All In, it was too short. It was short. I thought maybe it was for time constraints. Now, honestly, remember how I used to always mention how I think Vince McMahon came up with matches just because of one spot he was excited about? I think the only reason why they did that match at All In with Darby and Jack is just for that one spot. That one spot to satisfy Tony Khan. Which again is absolutely ridiculous because once again, it's just showing that he's petty and he won't move on. Again, it's okay to take your occasional shots at the other company, but it feels like that's all AEW is relying on to get more heat. That's rather than telling their own stories, they're relying on people from another company to draw heat, to draw their ratings. And that's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to cut it. And it's just going to show that you're very incompetent of putting on a productive product when we know you can do it. But of course, first off, you have your hands full because you got so many other things you're juggling around. But as also, you've exposed your weaknesses. And instead of just defending yourself, instead of just, handling it better, you're making yourself look worse. And because of that, an excellent talent like Jack Perry is getting looked at in a negative light because all his character is doing is getting heat because of CM Punk. Ridiculous. Not only, again, do you have 2 pay-per-views in a row, which, again, you don't need All Out. This is the second year in a row I am not watching All Out because I got no interest. Yes, some of the matches will be good, don't get me wrong. But still, I got no interest. And plus 2, I'm not spending $100 in 2 weeks on content that the weekly shows are shit. I'm sorry. But again, the main thing is this grudge, this obsession with CM Punk has to stop. Move on. Seriously, Tony. Move on. It's over. Punk's in WWE. He's happier there. He's in a better environment. He's not around people who are just coming up with conspiracies thinking he's the reason why Colt Cabana got fired or wasn't on TV. Again, CM Punk is gone. Colt Cabana's still under contract. How many times has he been on TV? Maybe like once or twice. That's it. It's just ridiculous. And again, I'm a big fan of Jack Perry's, where he's a face or a heel. And I know he could be a great heel. It's just they got to change the premise of what he gets his heat on. If it wasn't for CM Punk, would Jack Perry be getting the nuclear heat? No. But again, he's not in AEW anymore. You got to stop relying on him. You gotta just move on and quit being petty and quit thinking the only way you're gonna get heat, you're gonna draw viewers, is by firing shots at the other company. You can occasionally do it, yes, but doing it all the time and that all being your due is gonna get you absolutely nowhere. That's all I gotta say, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on Jack Perry's heat being just CM Punk and how it needs to change? What do you guys think of anything I just said? Leave your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below. Be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter as well, The Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at The Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later and have a great rest of your night. And do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah!